Good morning, everyone. Apple, you may already know this, released a number of new items this week, including a new iPad and an Apple Watch. The most anticipated item, though, is that new iPhone. Naomi Ruckham tells us about the latest features.
We are thrilled to introduce our next generation of iPhone.
Apple CEO Tim Cook used a virtual event to show off the new iPhone 13. There are no major changes, but the 5G device offers a faster processor and longer battery life. There's also an updated camera that records video in cinematic mode, and the company says pictures are even sharper.
Brighter results in your photos and videos.
How big are iPhone sales for the company?
The iPhone is still Apple's most important product, right? It represents about half of the company's revenue.
CNET's Ian Scher says the camera has become a huge selling point for all smartphone companies.
The features we've seen in the last few years are built around being able to take better photos, being able to take photos that look very professional.
Apple's main competitor in smartphone sales is Samsung. Last month, the company revealed its latest version of the Galaxy phone, which unfolds into a larger device. The Galaxy Z Fold 3 comes with 5G and an $1,800 price tag, which is actually cheaper than last year's $2,000 version. Samsung also has a $1,000 new Flip 3 that can fold in half.
This is the Pixel 5a with 5G.
The recently released 5A is Google's cheaper phone, priced at $450. The company is expected to unveil a brand new Pixel 6 later this fall.
These are the best iPhones we've ever created.
Prices for the new iPhone lineup are the same as last year.
Because the design hasn't changed much, reality is keeping the prices around where they are is good business decision for them.
The new phones will be available on September 24th. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Now, this past Monday, Apple sent out an alert urging customers to do a software update on their current phones, watches, and other devices as soon as possible. Researchers found a security flaw of some kind that may allow hackers to steal your data, so do that update. Well, authorities are warning about a scam that's targeting seniors. The scammers prey on people concerned about their health and Medicare coverage. Jessica Moore reports on that.
This is Becky, your patient advocate working closely with Medicare. Currently, Medicare is offering precautionary genetic cancer screening nationwide.
Seniors across the country are receiving robocalls that claim to be from Medicare.
If you do not act soon, then Medicare may label you as ineligible for coverage.
But it's a scam, according to the AARP. The fake calls have hit more than 60 million Americans.
These are sophisticated criminals.
Kathy Stokes is the director of fraud prevention programs at AARP.
In this process, the caller is asking for your Medicare number.
Scam artists may sell that Medicare number to other criminals or use it to file fraudulent claims. Authorities in Columbiana County, Ohio, say residents there are getting a different fake Medicare call.
They'll actually have the appropriate Medicare number and the name to go along with it, and they're telling them that they need a new card.
The Federal Trade Commission says scammers are often trying to collect personal information, like in this call.
I'm from Medicare. We're sending out the new cards, and I need to confirm your billing information to keep your coverage active.
Medicare never randomly calls looking for money or offering test kits.
Know that that's a scam because that's not how it works. Your doctor has to prescribe durable medical equipment or surgeries or test kits. And without that prescription, you can't get this stuff.
The Federal Trade Commission says if you receive a call like this, simply hang up. Jessica Moore, CBS News, New York.
Trendy styles, but at what cost? You might be surprised at the conditions behind the fashion. That's just ahead on Mid-Morning. All right, we're back. You may think that so-called sweatshops are only found overseas where workers toil for pennies, but it's happening in Los Angeles. A 2016 U.S. Department of Labor investigation found pay violations in 85% of the LA garment shops it looked into. Now a bill to protect California's low-paid garment workers from wage theft is headed to Governor Gavin Newsom's desk. Anna Werner has more on that.
They're the clothes all over social media, garments called fast fashion. But behind the glam of many brands is a chain that leads back here to LA's old warehouses. Fashion brands often buy from a vendor, and the vendor buys from factories in warehouses like this one. Just ask Francisco Zuhl.
This is one of the places you used to work, right?
Exactly.
He's spent nearly 30 years sewing garments in those factories, often called sweatshops.
I'm looking, the windows are open, so there's no AC in there, huh?
There is no AC at all.
Over the years, Zuhl has documented many problems while working in LA's garment industry, like in this video he took of cockroaches running rampant through one facility.
There is some kind of modern slavery going on the sweatshops.
Modern slavery.
Modern slavery.
In the sweatshops.
Literally. Yes, yes.
Modern slavery, he says, because workers in those shops earn money on a system called a piece rate. They're paid for each seam they sew, each sleeve they make, each piece they complete.
They paid us like 5 cents, 6 cents for a piece.
5 cents or 6 cents a piece.
Yeah.
As a result, workers' average hourly wage last year ranged from $5.85 to as low as $2.68, according to advocacy group the Garment Workers Center. Director Marissa Nuncio.
At those low rates, they can never reach the minimum wage. It's impossible. Even the most seasoned, skilled workers cannot sew fast enough.
How fast would they have to work? To make the LA minimum wage of $15 an hour, a worker paid 5 cents per piece would have to sew 300 pieces in an hour.
Es muy difícil para mí.
It's very difficult, says this worker, Verhilda, who only wanted to be identified by her first name because she fears retaliation. She's worked in the garment shops for over 20 years, but says she still earns less than $5 an hour. If you ask for a pay raise, she told us, they say if you want to work, then work. If not, there's the door. We wanted to see the conditions for ourselves. So we went with Francisco Zuhl to a building where he used to work, visiting a different factory.
You are the owner?
Inside, no air conditioning, as workers sewed or trimmed stacks of inexpensive-looking clothes. We asked shop owner Valentin Carbajal.
How much would someone get paid to make that?
But the company paid me maybe around $7.50, $7.75.
So the company pays you around $7.50 for this garment?
Yeah.
Carbajal told us with brands paying so little for the garments, he can't afford to pay his workers much.
Are you saying that you can't raise their salaries because you're not getting paid enough?
This employee, Maria, told us she makes $200 a week.
So you're saying sometimes at the end of the week you don't even have the cash to pay the workers?
Yeah.
That's why last month, Francisco Zuhl and other garment workers rallied in California's capital to push legislation to make brand name clothing companies who control pricing, not just the subcontractors, subject to increased liability if workers aren't paid what they're owed.
We have to make the liability go to the brands.
State Senator Maria Elena Durazo sponsored the bill.
We have to make sure that they are fully responsible for what the workers who produce their garments are getting paid.
But many brands have fought the bill, saying they do follow the law and shouldn't be liable for illegal operators who don't. The California Fashion Association's Ilsa Metchek.
Let me ask you a question that should be asked of these factories. If they cannot do it legally and legitimately, why do they even take the order?
And most of the brands we contacted said they insist that workers be paid at least minimum wage. But what they say isn't enough for Francisco Zuhl. He wants brand names held legally responsible.
We accept whatever they have to pay us because we need the money. We need to survive. We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice.
The California Chamber of Commerce opposed this legislation, calling it a job killer. It says some employers may choose to move out of state rather than face that liability provision. Anna Werner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All right, when we come back, we're talking with Miss Mississippi as she prepares to represent our state at the next level. Mid-morning, we'll be right back. One of the most visited monuments in Paris is getting an artistic makeover. Workers are transforming the famous Arc de Triomphe. Take a look.
Unveiling art doesn't normally involve wrapping it. But high above Paris's famous Champs-Élysées, workers are doing just that, draping the iconic Arc de Triomphe in 270,000 square feet of metallic fabric.
So we have to make sure that it's all really as Christo would have loved it to be.
Christo is a Bulgarian-born artist known for wrapping monumental buildings around the world. Just after his death last year, French authorities gave the green light to cover the 164-foot Arc de Triomphe. Christo's nephew is overseeing the project to keep his uncle's dream alive.
But the biggest challenge for me is that Christo is not here. That I miss his enthusiasm, his criticism, his energy.
The massive masterpiece is slowing traffic and stopping tourists in their tracks. Marley Dolitsky from Chicago is impressed.
I find it exciting and the weather is wonderful, so why not?
Critics, though, call the project wasteful, but organizers say all this fabric is recyclable. And the perfect gift, wrapped to remember the artist who envisioned it. Ian Lee, CBS News.
And Christo's family is paying for the $16 million project that will be on display through the beginning of next month. Well, scientists build satellite to monitor methane leaks that contribute to global warming. Methane is 85 times more powerful than carbon monoxide when it comes to planet warming properties. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are contributing to an effort to monitor it leaking from oil and gas sites. Ben Tracy reports on that.
Inside a hangar in Boulder, Colorado, this appears to be just another fancy private jet.
You can always pull these graphs up.
But it's actually filled with scientists on a mission to help save the planet. They take to the skies to hunt down an invisible gas, seen here with infrared cameras, which is rapidly heating up the atmosphere and fueling some of the worst impacts of climate change. What exactly is methane?
Methane is a greenhouse gas. It is the second largest contributor to climate change, and it accounts for more than a quarter of the warming that we're experiencing today.
Alyssa Acco is a senior climate scientist at the Environmental Defense Fund. She says methane emissions mainly come from leaks during fossil fuel production, from the digestive tracts of cows when they burp, and from rotting food in landfills. And here's why it matters. Methane is like carbon dioxide on steroids, 84 times more powerful at warming the planet. But unlike CO2, which can stay in the atmosphere for centuries, methane only lasts for about a decade.
Reducing methane emissions is the single fastest opportunity we have to slow down the rate of warming.
If we're able to cut these methane emissions, what impact would that have on warming?
We have the technologies available to cut methane emissions globally in half over the next 10 years. And if we do that, then we can slow down the rate of global warming by 30%.
Slowing warming could mean fewer destructive storms, wildfires, and heat waves, and slower melting of the world's ice sheets, which is causing sea levels to rise.
We need to know how much methane is being emitted, from where, and by whom.
So you actually detect the methane through the bottom of the plane?
Yeah, that's correct.
And that's where the plane comes in.
Up front is actually methane air itself. And if you look up, you can actually see two lenses.
The scientists call it methane air. They've been flying it over what's known as the Permian Basin, more than 86,000 square miles in Texas, the largest oil field on the planet. Special sensors on the plane detect methane leaks from oil and gas facilities on the ground. According to the EDF, those industries account for about a quarter of all human-made methane emissions, and knowing where the leaks are can help in identifying the polluters and holding them responsible.
I see workers capping hundreds of thousands of abandoned oil and gas wells.
President Biden wants Congress to spend $16 billion to help stop the methane leaks that scientists are seeing from the air and soon from space. A new $90 million satellite called Methane Sat is being built by the Environmental Defense Fund, in part with money from Amazon founder Jeff Bezos' Earth Fund. They plan to launch it next year atop a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Once in orbit, it will find and map methane leaks around the world 24 hours a day.
This is the structure.
Steve Stegg is CEO of Blue Canyon Technologies, which is building the satellite, including the solar panels that will act as its wings to power its flight.
And so what we're seeing here, this is pretty much as big as it is, and then the solar arrays come out from there.
That's exactly right. This is the size of it. The solar arrays will extend out about 10 to 12 feet on each side of the satellite.
So this will absolutely be a game changer.
Reducing planet warming emissions has been Alyssa Akko's life work since a trip to Greenland during college.
I watched as ice was melting off of glaciers and just rushing out into the ocean.
And she now has one very personal reason to work even harder.
I have a 2-year-old daughter, and it really worries me what the climate will be like when she's my age. I look at my daughter every day, and I just want the best for her. And a huge part of that is the world that we're leaving behind.
A world we still have a chance to save. Ben Tracy, CBS News, Boulder, Colorado.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back to wrap things up. Welcome back to Mid-Morning, everyone. The Miss America organization has long been one that has showcased beautiful, talented women, as well as awarding them millions of dollars in scholarships over many decades to help them reach their educational goals. This December, we will crown a new Miss America, and we will all be rooting for Miss Mississippi. Our guest this morning, Holly Brand. Holly, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Listen, we're about 3 months away from the actual Miss America pageant after it had to be canceled last year. So what are you doing to prepare for competition?
Well, I have appearances every day. This is a full-time job. And so for right now, after my appearances, I'm reviewing my paperwork. I'm doing a ton of mock interviews, keeping up with current events, of course. And of course, I'm going over my talent over and over to make sure it's as perfect as it can be for the competition. But we're 12 weeks away from my departure to the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut to compete. And I honestly can't wait. I think it's going to be a really great time. So I'm excited.
The one thing I love about this organization is that it asks the contestants to have a platform, something they really care about, that's close to their heart, that they want to promote. What is your platform?
So my social impact initiative centers on volunteerism and operates under the slogan, if you see a need, take the lead. So as I see a need arise in my community, I take the lead to solve it through community service, and I encourage others to do the same by establishing a volunteer network. So as my time as Miss Mississippi so far, we've partnered with the Mississippi Commission for Volunteer Service, and it operates under 8 regional hubs across the state. And so my job as Miss Mississippi is to not only connect the local title holders of the Miss Mississippi class of 2022 with their regional hubs to promote their social impact initiatives, but to also connect every Mississippian when I meet them in appearances with their regional hubs so they can get interested in volunteering. The ultimate goal is to increase Mississippi's volunteer percentage by at least 5%. And so hopefully by the end of the year, as my year of Miss Mississippi, will be able to do that through the different strategies that I have.
All right. Well, it's a wonderful platform to have, encouraging service in the community for sure. Another big component of this is the talent. You mentioned that. What's going to be your talent for the competition?
I'm going to let my actual talent selection be a surprise, but I am a vocalist. I've been singing ever since I was a kid. My parents said that I could sing before I could talk, not actual words, of course. But music has always been a huge part of my life. I sing and I play a few instruments. And so the ultimate goal is to pursue a career in the music industry, but I'm going to let my actual talent selection be a surprise for you guys in December.
Oh, we love a good surprise. Can't wait to see what it is. You've been doing a lot of fun activities. I mean, there is the volunteer side of this, there is the public speaking, but you've been able to get involved in some fun activities, and you did the Show Me Your Shoes parade recently. Tell me about that.
Yes, so I had Miss America orientation last weekend, and part of that included the historic and iconic Show Me Your Shoes parade, where each state gets a shoe that showcases something about her state. And so the theme for this year was iconic women. And many people know that Sarah Thomas, she's the first full-time NFL female referee. She's from Brandon, Mississippi. And so we wanted to showcase and pay tribute to her through my shoe and my entire outfit. So I had a fun little referee theme. I had a football on top of my shoe, which is actually a cleat instead of a high heel. And it was so fun. Everyone really loved the shoe. I just loved wearing it. And I love Sarah Thomas. I think that she is an incredible inspiration for young women and has made such great strides, not only for women, but for also the state of Mississippi. So that's what my shoe is about. And I loved paying tribute to her.
Love the salute to girl power. Love that. All right. Over the years, there's been a lot of, there's been its fair share of criticism and praise for the Miss America organization. What does being involved in this organization mean to you as a young woman trying to pursue, academic and career goals?
Well, the Miss America organization is the largest provider of scholarships for young women today. I've earned over $18,000 in cash scholarships, over $80,000 in in-kind scholarships. I've earned a full tuition scholarship to the University of Alabama, which I have utilized. I've been able to graduate there debt-free and pursue my master's free of cost because of the Miss America organization. But aside from that, the Miss America organization has helped me not only find my voice, but also it helps me celebrate it. Women in other countries are silenced and asked not to speak, but the Miss America organization wants to hear what I have to say and values my voice and my opinion. And so I'm so grateful to be able to showcase that during the competition on stage, but also every single day in my community and academically through scholarships. So there's a lot to celebrate with these 100 years that we're celebrating this year.
Well, you are a wonderful example for the state of Mississippi and a great role model for young ladies here. We will all be cheering you on in December at the Miss America competition. So, Holly Brand, thank you so much for being here and all the best to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right. Stay with us, everyone. We will be right back.
All right, stay connected with us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We'll see you back here next time. Have a great day.